Boa tarde a todos. O meu nome é Miguel Gomes, sou investigador doutorando aqui na Faculdade de Belas Artes e sou moderador desta mesa. Vou começar com a apresentação da Renata Kislova e da Veronika Wankova. Agora vou passar em inglês. The presentation is about one research they've made during discoveries they made during the restoration on some figural decorations on the Renaissance Castle of Office. Veronika Wankova has obtained a PhD in History of Art at Charles University of Prague and a bachelor degree in Conservation and Artwork on paper in the University of Pardubice, also on the Czech Republic. And Renata Kislova works as a material scientist at the University of Pardubice, Faculty of Restoration of Litoms on the Czech Republic. She obtained a PhD at the Polish Academy of Science.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I first would like to thank you organizers for inviting our contribution, and I would like to show or open a new topic dealing with the plaster cast, and this will be the discussion whether the stucco objects are really stucco or they are plaster. And it's not a question of plaster collections, but it's more the question of historical sites where you can have a figure, statues, but we are not sure if we are dealing with the stucco plaster cast. And this is the case of our reference object, which is Renaissance figural stucco works in one chateau situated in the south of the country, and they are located in the imperial, so-called imperial hall. I would like to show. Oh, sorry. Yes. I'm sorry. Okay. That's my topic. So I'm going to present the results of our interdisciplinary research. Veronika Wankova, who is the co-author, is the art historian. I'm a material scientist, and also in the project, many of the restorers, of course, were involved. So this is really the work of the interdisciplinary team. This is our reference object, which is rich in stucco decoration, and we are going to focus only on the figural stucco works. It is situated, this chateau is situated in the south of the country, and these statues were described during its restoration in the middle of the last century as being plaster casts. However, a recent restoration survey revealed that the use of that the statues are not plaster casts, and they were made during different technology and using stucco mortars and terracotta. So the restoration survey does provide new information concerning the procedure and materials, and also in deeper context, it gets or it put or give a new information into the organization of the artist workshops the secrets of the artist craftsmanships, and on more general level, because the research was done within the Czech national project dealing with Renaissance stucco, it was a reference for comparison of other Renaissance figural stucco works in our country as well as in the Central Europe. So look at the object. The stucco decorations are in the so-called imperial hall in the chateau, which is very in Czech, so the Chateau Bučovice, and it's localized in the south of the country nearby Brno, which was at the 16th century the important center for artists coming from the Lake Como, from the border of Swiss and Italy. The owner was one of the richest noblemen of that time, Jan Šembera, from Chernohorsky nobleman family. And the master builders were, as you can see, 4 Italian masters coming from the region of Como. And I would like to draw your attention to Jacopo Strada, who probably was a very famous designer collection of classical art at that time. And he, for example, designed the Antiquarium in Munich residence, or have their own collection in Vienna of classical art. So we know that from archival sources that he visited the chateau in 1980s. The decorations can be dated after 1580s, and they are located in the ground floor of the west wing. You can see it in yellow. The technique is stucco decorations, freestanding statues, and it's a quite rich combinations with wall paintings, panel paintings, and down there were probably tapestries which decorated the walls. I would like to speak about the author, which is until recently unknown, or we have some from the previous interpretations. It was interpreted like it was Hans Mott, who was the Dutch sculptor, but from the recent research, we more tended to the author of sculpture from the region of the Lake Como. But this we are going to go deeper in it. So here you can see some plan of the room. This is the Imperial Hall. With the numbers on the right image, you can see the position of 9 figural standing figural statues. And as you can see here, we have 4 busts of emperors, Roman emperors. You can see 2 of them on left and right side above the window niches. And at the front, you can see the freestanding statues of Charles V. On the left, you can see the Europa statues, who's sitting on the ball like Zeus. And in the center, you can see the coat of arms of the nobleman family. This is the view on the north side. This is the opposite side, where you can see 2 other Roman emperors, and then the statue of Diana and Mars. Yeah. Some details. It was presented like in the white color of the stucco. and there was no polychromy, and white was in contrast with gold or local polychromy of the leaves of the Roman emperors and so on. So I am more comfortable in this part, I have to say, because I am a material, as my colleague introduced me, I am a material scientist, so I organize more or less the inspection of the objects. And it was divided into several parts. First was the visual inspection, as the students show it is the basic tool for looking for inspect the objects. I think it includes the observation of the objects in normal light or radiant light from the side. And of course, it's very it's the easiest way, but to continue with the interpretation of the technique and material analysis, we have to include the advanced non-invasive survey or the presentation. You can see some of them, and I will show you the results of X-ray radiography used for documenting the internal structure of the statues, and the videoscoping, and some, if we have a time, multispectral inspection using UV light, infrared light, and so on. And of course, my dominant field is material analysis of materials. So the last part of our investigation was the analysis of mortars and other materials, which is very important, as I will show you later. So first, visual inspection helps us to look on the object, and we reveal some basic information about the structure. This is the statue of Charles V, and you can see on the upper left the wooden construction. And the similar was the board at the back of the statue, which was put into the lunette and finished with mortar. So this was the basic L construction. And on it, we have, like we see on the right down a picture, some other construction from wood. And inside the statues, there was wires and iron reinforcements. The visual inspection was very important, not from the front side, but at this case, also from back side. On the right up, you can see very rough finish of the Stucco statues of the Charles. And so it was, for us, it was very interesting that artists work only from the from the view of the front side. There also, from the back side, we also see the application of mortars, of several types of mortars. We saw the core layer of the statues and the finish of white in Tunaco. And to hide the wires, you can see on the left down, there was this third type of very rough, inhomogeneous mortar, which was used for hiding these wires. Okay, so very important materials we seen. So thanks to the visual inspection, we saw not only the construction, the stratigraphy of the mortars, but we also defined the materials which were used. And it was not only the stucco, but it was glass, it was natural materials, it was iron plates, and small pieces of decorations made of natural materials like shells, stones, plants, and so on. So this probably you know, so we do the documentation of materials used for each statue. And it was very interesting because we have a collection of stucco samples, but the only difference in the collection was the statue of Mars, which has a terracotta core, and it was finished with the same intonacule like the other statues. So probably we interpret this difference that the statue of Mars was a model for other statues, and maybe it was the reason of the Strada's visit in the 1580s to show or to bring a model for other stucco statues. So this is the second part. After visual inspection, we have a non-invasive survey and we try to new advanced methods, but this is the result of RTI, which is normally used for in-archive documentation of coins and so on. So this helps us to reveal the traces of creation of the surface, so we can have documentation of using tools and of course processing the stucco, as well as, for example, degradation phenomena. Yes, this maybe I can skip this. Yeah, the multispectral analysis was used to reveal which what's on the top of the statue. So it helped us to reveal that the surface is not original. It's replaced by painting from the mid of the 20th century. And in some cases, it helped us to analyze some pigments which were used for polychromic, which is this case of identifying the ultramarine blue. Okay, this was the big project. We use mobile X-ray tomography for reconstructing the internal structures, and it was very successful in this case. And in the case of Martas, we, thanks to this radiometric research, we found that the statue was composed of at least 6 terracotta parts, hollow in the core, and it was then finished. You can see the fixing of the parts with pins, and this method was very useful for reconstructing the internal structure. To reveal if to answer if the statues are stucco or plaster, the final information was get from the microscopy analysis, and we found that it's not a gypsum, but it's a lime prepared from marble, and the aggregate is crushed marble, well sorted with a typical angular shape of the aggregate, which is typical for grinding. So binder aggregate ratio, the side was 1:3 to 1:2, and it is a typical recite which was recommended in the second, at the beginning of the 15th and in the beginning of the 16th century by Italian masters, and you can find it with all the Italian treatises. Yeah, I have no time. This is the analysis of terracotta, the Finnish white stuff with the same composition. So it means that the Mars was probably coming from different side of the model, but finished on side to adjust this shape and appearance to the other statues. Yeah, conclusions, I'm sorry. So no plaster is in the interior wall in Bučovice. The most recent research showed that the Bučovice stucco sculptures are created in lime stucco alla prima by the progressive application of lime stucco mixtures onto internal structure. The only exception to this description is the statue of Mars, which is the only sculpture with a terracotta core but finished with a similar stucco mortar. These informations could only be ascertained with the help of a detailed restoration survey supported by advanced techniques and scientific identification, which help to reveal technique and materials used. Evaluation only based on visual inspection and formal inspection can lead to erroneous conclusions and interpretation. Thank you very much.
Thank you.